This stepmom is evil. This happened when this kid was around 11 years old. You see, his dad had remarried a few years earlier, and things at home were weird, but he was trying to make it work. One day his stepmom goes, "Come on, buddy, let's get some ice cream." And he's like, "All right." To him, this feels nice. Maybe they're gonna bond. Maybe she's finally warming up to him. So they go get cones. They sit down inside the shop. He's eating his ice cream, thinking it's a normal day. She then sets her ice cream down, looks him in the face, and says, "I think it's best if you go live with your mom full time." He's confused. But before he can answer, she says this, "Nobody in our house loves you." The dude said he just sat there frozen. She keeps going. "You take your dad's money. You smell. You ruin everything, and you make him choose you over me." She's saying this to an 11-year-old inside of an ice cream shop. Then when she's done laying into him, she stands up, walks out, gets in the car, and leaves him there at the ice cream shop crying. He said that moment changed him forever. No normal adult says that to a child. That woman is evil. Yo, something stinks. This one guy shared the story. It's the middle of the night. The dad's asleep in his room, and somehow his twin toddlers, both 2 years old, escape their room and go down to the kitchen. They drag a chair across the floor and they climb on it. They open a drawer they definitely shouldn't be opening and they pull out a cheese grater. Then they go to the fridge and pull out a block of cheese, Parmesan cheese. So now these two toddlers are sitting on the floor with a cheese grater and a block of Parmesan cheese. And all you can hear is just sound of grating cheese. The shavings are falling on the floor. They're picking it up. Now this house had heating vents on the floor. Well, this toddler took all of this cheese, lifted up the heating vent, and they started feeding cheese down the vent. They then go back to their room. Well, morning hits. The dad wakes up. "What is that smell?" Now this is the middle of winter, so the heat was on. The entire house smells like hot feet. He starts checking everything. He opens the fridge, the oven, he's mopping the floors. The smell won't go away. But his toddlers are being suspicious. What did you two do? Milk. Now this family is one of those families that had cameras inside the house. So he decided he's gonna check the cameras. And he sees everything happen. What in God's name? So he gets to cleaning. He does as best as he can, but that smell never really went away. But more than the smell, this dad was concerned, because how did his 2-year-old twins get out of their room, go to the kitchen, get a cheese grater, grate Parmesan cheese, and put it into the heating vents? Those two are menaces. Yo, when this kid was young, his parents told him, "Sweetie, your hamster got too big for its cage. We had to give him to a new home." Aww. He was like 8 years old and he believed it completely. He was devastated, but he eventually got over it. He just figured, well, Chester's out there somewhere. I hope he's happy. Fast forward a few years. Now, the kid's in middle school. One day, him and his older brother are arguing over something stupid. "Yo, I finished my homework early to play the PlayStation. Mom said I could." "I don't care, dude. I'm not getting off. I'm staying on this all night." "You're a freaking jerk, dude." "Yeah, well, you're a baby." It escalates. The kid then unplugs the PlayStation in the middle of a match, and his older brother freaks out. "You know what? You really think Mom and Dad gave your hamster to a new home?" "What? Yeah. Follow me outside." "What do you mean? Where are we going?" So now he's confused. The older brother leads them both outside. The older brother grabs a little shovel and he begins digging in the middle of the yard. You really thought, oh my God. What's going on? There it is. The older brother pulls out this little knit bag. He opens it, and inside was the dead hamster. "See, look, it never went to a new home." "The cat frickin' killed it, and Mom and Dad lied to you." For the rest of his middle school career and high school, that little brother was a menace to both his parents and his older brother. He said he never forgave them. This kid pulled a prank that caused the school so much trouble, and nobody ever found out it was him. It starts with him at a dollar store. He finds these bottles of concentrated bubble bath soap. This looks fun. Like a tiny amount of this stuff would make a ton of foam. This gives me an idea. So he buys a bunch of them, fills his entire gym bag. Now this kid knows the school's layout. He knows where all the cameras are. He knows where their cameras aren't. So one weekend he sneaks inside the building. We're in. He makes it secretly all the way to the pool. The school pool. Looks around, it's empty. Obviously, it's like 10 p.m. on a Saturday. He unzips his bag and he just starts dumping this bubble bath soap into the pool. Bottle after bottle. Then he just leaves. He doesn't stick around. Didn't even wait to see what happened. Well, flash forward to Monday. He gets to school, and there's literally foam everywhere, bursting through doors, filling the hallways. The entire pool room has foam up to the ceiling. Yo. The principal's freaking out. Cancel school! This is an emergency! The kids are laughing. The entire school is talking about this. But here's the thing that this kid did not think about. That foam doesn't just sit there. It gets into the filtration system, into the tubes, the pipes. The entire pool had to be shut down for weeks. It had to be drained, rinsed, and drained like 4 times to make sure all the soap was gone. The biggest problem is that school was known for its water sports, so the polo team and the swim team had to change their entire schedules and share pools with different schools. And the craziest part, this kid didn't even tell anybody. The situation was so bad he couldn't even brag about it to his friends, so he just stayed silent. Until now. This family is so weird. So this kid gets invited over to his friend's house, and it's a normal day at first. We were swimming and hanging out. It was whatever. But the setup to the house is already weird. To get to the backyard pool, you have to walk straight through the parents' bedroom. And on the walls of the bedroom, it was just pictures of my friend's mom. Hundreds of them. In different costumes, hundreds of framed pictures all over the walls. In a cowboy costume. In an Elmo costume. In a horse costume where she was the head of the horse and his dad was the butt. So he's already like, yeah, this house is weird. But it gets worse. Later that day, they all go inside and the friend's mom goes, okay, who wants some ice cream? I was like, heck yeah, I love ice cream. She scoops the vanilla into the bowl and hands it to him. But then she grabs a bottle from the fridge and says, do you want ranch on it? I didn't know how to answer, but I assumed it was a joke, so I just laughed and said, no, I'm okay. She just looks confused. And then her son, this kid's friend, says, I'll take some, Mom. Dude, it's so much better with ranch on it. Then the dad walks in, he grabs a bowl. Oh, this looks good. Who's got the ranch? I'm just sitting there watching them all eat vanilla ice cream with ranch on it, and they're looking at me like I'm the weird one. Hey, I never went back to that house ever again. The most uncomfortable dinner ever. So this kid gets invited to his friend's house for dinner. Everyone's sitting at the table and the drinks are poured. This kid said that he wants milk, please. He gets poured milk, everyone else gets poured their drinks, and they start to eat dinner. But then he takes a sip of his milk. The entire table stops eating and stares at him. The dad slowly looks at him, dead serious. In this house, you do not drink until you finish your meal. Wait, he repeats himself. In this house, we do not drink until we finish our meal. He's like, okay, yep, got it. Will not drink my milk until my meal's gone. He was horrified. Hey, bro, you should apologize to my dad. Seriously? Yes. And I'm really sorry, sir. Once they were all done eating, his friend's dad tried to punish him. He said, because of what you did at dinner, I want you to take your shoes off and run 3 laps around the house. Mind you, it was freezing cold outside and there was snow on the ground. This kid just said, no, I'm not doing that. He called his mom picked him up, she told her what happened, and he never went there ever again. What kind of dad does that? It's the first day of a new semester, and this teacher is having everybody in class give a personal story, one by one, and they had 10 minutes to think of one. Then each student comes up to give their 3-minute introduction speech. Normal stuff, but obviously people are panicking. But they came up with their stories, like summer jobs, broken bones, embarrassing vacations. Well, one girl instantly raises her hand. I'll go first. Okay, I like your enthusiasm, get on up here. She's confident and she is smiling. She walks to the front of the classroom. She starts talking about how her parents owned a retiring home, how they worked hard and built their business from the ground up. She said how the retirement home had these huge aquariums in the lobby filled with fish. The whole room's nodding. Oh, that's sweet. This is a nice story. But then she says, yeah, me and my brother got bored one day, so we smashed the aquarium glass. People looked up like, grabbed a fork from the kitchen. The teacher's like, and stabbed each fish one by one. The class is horrified. She then smiles and says, so yeah, that's my story. Nobody clapped, the teacher had no idea what to say, and nobody talked to her for the rest of the year. Yeah, I wouldn't either. She sounds insane. This kid ran a crazy summer hustle. His neighbor's name was Mr. Henderson. I'm Mr. Henderson. And he had just left for a 2-week camping trip, but he left his in-ground pool unattended. Most kids would sneak over for a quick dip, but this guy had a different idea. He turned his neighbor's backyard into a literal water park, and he charged every kid on the block $5 for a day pass. Step right up, water park day pass is $5, and people were paying. It was immediately basically a full-blown operation. There was a cooler full of sodas, there were folding chairs everywhere, and the front yard was a pile of bikes. And these two guys were by the gate, collecting $5 bills. On day 4, the party was at its peak. 15 kids in the backyard, cannonballs, Marco Polo. Some dude fired up Mr. Henderson's grill and was making hot dogs. Then, Mr. Henderson shows up. What in God's name is going on back here? You see, obviously, one of the other neighbors called Mr. Henderson to let him know what was going on. So he came back from his trip super early. Backyard was dead silent. But what Mr. Henderson did, nobody expected. You, come here. Yes? Listen, I'm going back camping, okay? You can stay here as long as you clean up every day, and by the time I get back, it needs to be spotless. You understand? Oh, yeah. Stay out of my house, too, but have fun. And that was that. For the rest of the 2 weeks, those kids had the most fun they've ever had on a summer break. And yeah, that sounds awesome. Mr. Gene was a creepy teacher. Big guy, super weird energy, and he had bottles and bottles of Febreze behind his desk. And I guess he had a very strong nose as well, because he took it very personally when someone would come to class smelling bad. If he didn't like the way someone smelled, they would sit down and he would Febreze the air. Well, one day class started normally. He was teaching like normal. He locked eyes with this one kid. He didn't like what he smelled, so he grabbed the Febreze bottle. He marched right over to this kid. Can I help you? And Mr. Gene just sprayed over and over and over for like 15 seconds. This kid didn't know what to do, so he's just sitting there getting drenched in Febreze. Please stop. Turns around, goes to the front of the class, and begins teaching again like nothing happened. Crazy part is that teacher taught for another 5 years before he retired. I don't know how he wasn't fired. This kid tried to outsmart the dress code. He was in 7th grade and his school had one of those weird rules. Your bangs couldn't go past your eyebrows. That was the line, just the eyebrows. So one day, a teacher pulls him aside. Hey, come here. Yeah? Get a haircut by tomorrow or there will be consequences. Usually a kid would then have their parents trim their hair. But not this guy. He went home angry. I'm going home, and I'm angry. And he starts thinking like a lawyer. Hair can't go past your eyebrows. Then it hits him. If I don't have eyebrows, then there's nothing for the hair to go past. He felt like a genius, so that night he took a razor and he shaved his eyebrows clean off. Shows up to school the next morning proud. Same teacher sees him. What did I tell you about your hair? Come here. Well, miss, I'm actually fine now. Not breaking any rules because I don't have eyebrows anymore. She was not impressed, and he still got into trouble and still had to trim his hair. But hey, nice try. Most teachers have a confiscation drawer, usually full of phones, gum, fidget spinners. But this one teacher had a crazy policy. If it's on your desk and it's not a pencil or your work, it's mine until June. She wasn't joking. She was basically like a frickin' pirate. And her desk was the treasure chest, baby. By May, her desk would look like a mix between a museum and a flea market. Stuff everywhere. She had a stack of rare Pokemon cards, a half-finished crochet project from a student trying to make a hat during a test. There were some lucky rocks, and I kid you not, a waffle maker. On the last day of school, everyone would line up. This is to get their stuff back, or at least they hope. But this teacher, see, she didn't just hand it over. Everything on the desk is up for auction. You see, all year, she had been tracking these classroom points. Points you would get from doing well on tests, doing well on homework, good behavior. And at the end of the year, for this auction, that was the only currency that she wanted. Well, the kid who owned the waffle maker only had 50 points. The straight A kid had 500 points. Yeah, I want the waffle maker. Oh, man. But there was a bidding war. No, I wanted 150 points, 200 points. At the end of the day, pretty much everyone walked away with something that wasn't theirs to begin with. And honestly, that sounds kind of fun. If I were in that class, I would rack up those points as much as I could, and I would take all the stuff. That's crazy. These two best friends were next door neighbors. They decided they didn't want to walk around the fence to see each other anymore. So they were gonna dig a secret underground tunnel connecting one yard to the other. They started by the shed. I'm digging. They spent 2 weeks while their parents were at work. They both thought they were geniuses. Bro, we're geniuses. Tell me about it. Shoveling, pickaxing, hauling dirt out in wheelbarrows. Well, they were about 6 feet deep and 10 feet across when one of the kids pickaxed something solid. What was that? I don't know. Keep going. They shouldn't have kept going. Instead, he hit this thing again and again and again until burst. Water spraying everywhere. Ah! Bro, this is so bad. It was the water main, the main pipe, and the backyard began to flood. they ran out of that hole. The water didn't stop either. It kept going. The fire department showed up, and then the city workers, and they're like, what the heck is going on here?
We were trying to build a tunnel to each other's houses.
Where are your parents? They're at work. For the rest of the summer, that kid's yard had to be dug up, and they had to repair that pipe. His parents were obviously upset, but they kind of blamed themselves.
How did we not know he was digging a tunnel in our backyard?
Yeah.
That was my question too.
That's insane. Careful where you dig. Every neighborhood has that one house, yard where baseballs, frisbees, and dog toys go to die. The guy who lived there is creepy, angry, staring through the windows. Hey, go get the ball.
Let's just go inside.
Just like that, most kids accept the loss and they go buy a new one. But this one kid, he saw a gap in the market. What's up? He memorized the perimeter of this fenced yard. He knew the holes, the gaps, and he bought a very long pole. He has a 10-foot pole with a high grip claw at the end of it, and he started an extraction service. He pulls up with his bike and the pole like it's a jousting stick. All right, what is it? Baseball? Frisbee?
It's my dog's favorite beaver toy.
Okay, do you know where it is?
No.
That's fine, I'll use my drone. He had a drone with a camera so he could see above the yard to where the thing that needs to be extracted is, and then he would get to work. Okay, it's at this corner right here. I have the pole. Go through the gap. Is he watching?
No.
Got it. But he didn't do it for free. Depending on where in the yard it was, it could be $5, $10, or if the old man was right there watching, $20 because of the risk. But people usually paid. He didn't make bank, per se, but he made some good money, and he was a hero to a lot of neighborhood kids. One month he made $100 just by getting things that people were too scared to get themselves. I'd say it's a fair business because there's no way the old man would ever give those things back because he's just crazy like that. And so I say, gotta respect the hustle. Every school has that one kid who is super talented at something random. At this one school, his name was Marcus, and he was amazing at flipping water bottles, but not the normal way. He was able to flip these water bottles and have them land on their cap on crazy surfaces, like the edge of a chalkboard. Watch this. Nice. He made it look so effortless that this one kid in his class wanted to try it for himself. It was study hall, very quiet, and he's sitting there. He's got a half-empty Gatorade bottle, and he's thinking to himself, this is my chance. I'm gonna flip this bottle, land it on its cap on the teacher's desk. You see, Marcus was in this study hall as well. Well, this kid went for it, gave it a flip. Marcus is gonna be so impressed. Here we go. It was like slow motion. Flip, flip, flip. But suddenly, the cap fell off. He didn't tighten it enough. And this Gatorade just spills all over the teacher's desk.
What the heck is your problem?
He panicked. Marcus did it, Marcus said. But no, I didn't, bro. The teacher said, yeah, I don't believe that. Marcus is a god at flipping bottles. Teacher knew how good Marcus was. He didn't believe this kid for a second.
I'll take myself to the office.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Tough break. Meet Johnny. Johnny thought he was the smartest kid in the 7th grade. He spent all Monday night practicing his fake stomach pains. Ooh. Something kind of hurts. Hope I'm not getting sick.
I hope you feel better, sweetie.
Well, it worse, because on Tuesday morning, his mom fell for it.
Oh, Mom, the pain is worse.
Oh, my poor baby. Well, I'm heading to work. I'll call you into school. Stay home. Get some rest.
Okay.
He felt like he pulled off the heist of a century. Spent all day playing video games, thinking to himself, my friends are probably so jealous of me right now. Well, the next morning, he goes back to school, walks in like a king. What's up, guys? The second he gets into the building, he stops. The floors look extra shiny. Everyone's huddled in different groups, watching a video on their phone. He sees his friends. Yo, what's up? His friend says, bro, you picked the worst day to be sick. Apparently, during 3rd period the day before, there was supposed to be a routine fire drill, but it wasn't just the alarm that went off. Something malfunctioned, and the sprinklers in the main hallway went off. We're talking gallons and gallons and gallons of water hitting those floors. One kid even took the bathroom soap and sprayed it on the floors as the sprinklers were coming down. Slip and slide! The best part was, it was 100 degrees outside, so this felt awesome. Teachers were sliding, the principal slipped, the weird kid from class used a lunch tray as a boogie board. Everybody went home soaking wet, but they said it was the best day of school ever. And that's all anyone talked about for years. There was Johnny.
Oh, that sounds fun.
It was amazing. Hope you're feeling better, by the way. Oof. Tough break. Every kid has a moving out phase. On this day, this kid's mom was yelling at him, telling him to clean his room, eat his broccoli, normal stuff. But he got fed up. Fine, if my room is so messy, I'm moving out. And he expected his mom to cry and be like, no, don't move out, I'm so sorry. The mom just said, okay, the suitcase is in the attic. Suddenly, she called his bluff. Okay, I'm gonna go get it. He knows she called his bluff. but he wants to see how far he can take it, so he starts packing. Then suddenly, the mom is helping him pack. Oh, don't forget your toothbrush, honey. I'll even drive you to the end of the street if you want. I'll pack you a sandwich too, so you don't starve tonight. No, it's fine, I'll walk. Now, 5 minutes later, this kid's standing at the edge of the driveway with his suitcase full of random stuff his mom helped him pack. His mom locks the front door, closes the garage. Kid begins to walk away, hoping that they're watching him, hoping they'll beg for him to come back. But they don't. So he turns around, knocks on the door. Oh, hi, sweetie. Did you forget something?
I don't want to move out, Mom. I'll clean my room.
The room gets cleaned in record time. Has this ever happened to any of you guys? When she was a teenager, her dad was driving her to work at Dairy Queen. They're in the car.
All right, sweetie, this is gonna be a good day.
Ugh, I hate working. It's a normal ride so far. Then, out of nowhere, this woman cuts them off on the road. Most people just honk, then move on, but not this dad. He locks in, and he chases her down. Finally get to this red light. He pulls up to the right of her. Rolls his window down, and leaps out of the car right under her windshield. Apologize to me right now! Apologize to me right now! Screaming, flailing, right on her windshield. Now, he didn't put the car in park, so you know when you're not driving, the car just goes by itself very slowly. So this girl is in the car, her dad's on somebody else's car, and the car is just rolling slowly into the intersection. So she has to put her foot over the driver's seat and press the gas herself. Once her dad calms down, he gets back in the car and drives her to work like nothing happened.
Have a good day, sweetie.
Later that night, when everybody's home, they get a knock on the door while they're watching TV. I'll get it. It's the police. Hi, is your dad home? Dad, you're going to jail. And he was arrested. Makes sense.
The biggest loss of aura in school history. This kid built his whole reputation off of basketball. He wasn't on the team, but he would always say he was really good. He carried a basketball around with him everywhere. Hey, what's up, guys? At lunch or in class, whenever he was chilling, he would be spinning the ball on his finger. Yo, check this out. Cool, huh? And people did think it was cool. And he would always say, no, I don't want to be on the basketball team. Too much commitment. I just play in my backyard. Oh, okay. Yeah, the team is trash though anyway. Then the pep rally comes up. The principal goes, alrighty students, now it's time for the free throw challenge. Let's get somebody who's not on the team up here. See what you can do. And everybody volunteers this kid. Hey, come on, man. He'll do it. Yeah, he'll totally do it. The entire school knows him, so the entire gym is cheering so loudly. This kid gets up there. He's already got a basketball with him. Right. Takes his first shot. And he misses. Crowd's like, what? He brushes it off. It's a joke. It's a joke. Give me the ball. Misses again. And again. And again. He can't make one hoop. Now the cheers stopped. And the laughing began. Everyone's yelling at him, calling him a fraud, calling him a loser. Dude, you actually suck. He sucks. Kid begins crying. He was all talk, forever. Everyone thought he was a basketball god. Turns out, he's trash. He runs out of the gym, and he never comes to school with a basketball ever again.
This kid's dad freaked out. They're at the grocery store, shopping for their weekly groceries. Cereal, milk, frozen waffles, frozen pizza, lunch meat. Everything seems normal. Then they pull up to the aisle. They're at the cashier. He scans everything. All right, that'll be $125.64. The dad then goes into his pockets and pulls out this giant stack of coupons. Yeah, all right, here you go. Hands them to him super confident. The cashier starts scanning them. Beep, boop, beep, boop, bop, bop, beep. Then he goes, sir, every single one of these is like 9 years old. Everyone expired. Super expired. Scan them again. Okay, beep, beep, boop, bop, beep, beep, boop. The beeps obviously came from the machine, not his mouth. But this is a video. But he says again, yeah, no, they're all expired. Dad starts raising his voice in front of everybody at the store. His kid is with him. He's like, Dad, please settle down. We're in public. This is absolutely ridiculous. Doesn't make any sense at all. You know what? I'm leaving. He then starts to push the cart out of the store. Dad, we have to pay. I'm not paying for anything. Now the kid is standing there by the cashier. Cashier's watching the dad push the cart out and looks at him. Yeah, this is gonna be a problem. Kid then does something that he never forgave his dad for. He pulled out his wallet and paid for the entire grocery haul with all the money he made that summer from mowing people's lawns. Here, this should cover it. He was saving up for a brand new bike. Worst part is, his dad never paid him back. That's messed up. This is what happens when your math teacher sucks. This guy's kid is in 4th grade, and she's been having trouble in math. The whole year she's struggled, but when they got to multiplication and division, she struggled even more. I just don't understand it, Dad. I know, let's just try it again. The thing is, she just doesn't understand the method they're teaching, and it doesn't sound easy. So for multiplying, it's a bunch of steps. You break up the numbers, you draw boxes, then you multiply and then add them together. Something like that. And she gets these problems wrong like 90% of the time. So the dad's like, you know what? I'm gonna teach you the way that I learned how to do multiplication. She's like, okay. And guess what? Oh, Dad, I understand it. She under-frickin-stands it. Homework is a million times easier now because she learned it and she's actually solving the problems. Well, here's the issue. His daughter had a math test a few weeks ago, and she came home very upset.
Dad, I failed.
What? Let me see your test. She got a 50%, even though she only got 2 problems wrong. Technically, it should have been a 92%. So he goes into school and he has a conversation with the teacher. Can you explain why my daughter failed? The teacher says, yes, it's because she didn't use the method that I taught in this class. Excuse me? The dad pointed out that the test just says to show you work. It doesn't say to use a specific method. But she said, well, that's too bad. I taught my method to these students for a reason. Your daughter didn't use it. So she fails. Oh, the dad was furious. He went to the principal. He admits that he made it a pretty big deal. What are you guys teaching in the school, huh? Some bogus way to do multiplication? It's so much easier than that. Now my daughter's failing even though she got a 92% on the test. Except with a lot more yelling. The principal called the teacher in and forced her to change the girl's grade to an A. The principal then apologized to the dad and said, it won't happen again. Better not. But for real, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. This kid's not all there. I'm thirsty. But he wanted to focus really hard on this spelling test. He didn't want to be distracted by taking a sip of water or asking to go get some. So this is his brilliant idea. He went to the water fountain before class. He got a very big gulp of water and left it in his mouth. He heard that this is what the squirrels do. They put nuts in their mouth and they save them for later. Well, that was his idea, but with water. So now he's sitting in class. The teacher's naming the words, and he's writing the spelling down with a bunch of water in his mouth.
All right, class, your next word is fortitude.
His plan was to take small, tiny gulps throughout the test, so he never went thirsty. Well, about 2 minutes into the test, his cheeks give way, and a bunch of water just falls right on his desk. The test and the desk were soaked. Water was now spilling on the floor, and other kids noticed. The teacher walks over. Why is there a bunch of water on your desk and the floor? The kid didn't know how to respond, so he just looks her in the eyes and said, I have no idea. The teacher was so confused by that answer that she just walked away. No more questions were asked. He failed that spelling test.
What? All right, class, first we dissect. Then, eat.
This biology teacher had a side job as a chef, and apparently he was pretty good. Well, the kids in his biology class would frequently have these days, dissection days, where you would dissect frogs, cats, I don't know. But most of the time, the teacher would order a bunch of squid from the local market. The squid would be thawed out, raw, and passed out to every student. All right, you should all have a worksheet and a squid. You have 25 minutes. You get to dissect it. Everybody would dissect the squids. They would use the ink to write messages to each other. It sounds kind of fun if you like that kind of stuff. But then the teacher would do something different. He would pull out a George Foreman portable grill from underneath his desk, plug it in, and preheat that baby. Then he would collect all these squids from each lab table, bring them up, season them, and toss them on the grill. Oh, it's smelling good. The first time he did this, the students thought he was absolutely insane. They're like, there's no way we're gonna eat that. But then someone tried it.
Wait, that's actually good. Let me try. That is good.
I guess the way he cooked this squid was just delectable, and they were constantly looking forward to these days. And although it sounds weird, I think that's a good teacher. You ever go to a neighborhood garage sale and see somebody selling a vintage camera for like $5 when it's actually worth $500? Most people just let it happen, but not this kid. Yeah. He's 13, he's got a tablet, and he's running an appraisal firm in his neighborhood. You see, these families near his house, they have garage sales all the time, and they have no idea what they're selling. They're just clearing out their attics. Then the lowballers show up. Oh, that's a big box of Pokemon cards. How much? Oh, you can have them for $5, sweetie. Perfect. Well, you see, that's when the auditor would show up. He would walk up to a neighbor's garage sale and say, I don't want any of your money. I just want 10% of the extra cash you make. He then pulls out his tablet and he starts appraising every single item that these people are selling. He would check on eBay to see the realistic price. Sir, this camera's worth $200 and you're selling it for $3. What?
Oh my God, really? That's so good to know.
Imagine a guy trying to pay $5 for an old dusty lamp. Yeah, that sounds fair. Actually, that's a mid-century original lamp. It sold for $85 yesterday on eBay. You can have it for $60. People pay. By the end of the day, he would make $100 in commission without having to sell a single item. And the neighbors he's helping are so grateful. And honestly, I never thought about this, but it's genius. And this time I definitely gotta say, respect the hustle. Top 3 principles on a power trip. Number 1, this principle banned all backpacks because the hallways were messy and crowded. So now kids had to carry classes worth of stuff in their arms all day. Folders ripping open, papers on the floor. Meanwhile, this principal still walks around with her leather briefcase. Oh, pardon me. Oh, pardon me. It became such an issue, parents kept calling the school asking why backpacks weren't allowed. After a few days, so many kids started asking the principal about her briefcase that the rule died. The next one, this principal was tired of students being late to first period, so he forced every single teacher to lock every single classroom door the second the bell rings. And if you don't do it, there's gonna be problems. Didn't matter if it was raining outside or if your bus was late. If you weren't there before the bell, you weren't getting into class and you had to go to the office. One morning, a school board member showed up for a surprise visit, and when she walked through the hallways, she saw tons of students banging on their classroom doors trying to get in. What is going on here? Number 1, there was a principal who decided students were too loud during lunch, so he made the cafeteria completely silent, and detentions were handed out to anyone that spoke even one word. Milk detention. Hundreds of kids eating in total silence. It was completely insane, until one day this kid brought a whoopee cushion. He thought it would be funny to prank his friend during silent lunch, so his friend sits down. It was a slow, loud whoopee cushion fart. Everyone was silent for a few seconds after that. Then they just burst out laughing. Even the principal. Okay, we can talk again. I guess all it took was some light-hearted fart joke to turn the mean old man into a softie again.
ফোন দিয়ে যেতেছি ফোনই ধরো না, তোমার ফোন ধরার কোনো নামই নাই, কোনো কথা, তোমার ফোন ধরো না কেন?
এবারে এক্সামের প্রিপারেশন কিরকম তোদের? আমি তো খুবই এক্সাইটেড, কারণ আমার প্রিপারেশন খুবই ভালো।
জিসান দরজা খোল।
কি বুঝতেছি না। সুন্দর মতো যাবি, ভাবির নামটা জিজ্ঞাসি। আর শোন, ভালো মতো কথা কবে, ভাবি লাগে। খালি থাপড় আর চাপাবাজি, থাপড় আর চাপাবাজি, এই বাদে আর কিছু পারছস?
বুকিং?
বুকিং মানে বুকিং, তুমি আমার আমি তোমার, বুকিং দিয়ে দিছি, ফাইনাল।
আমাকে বুকিং দিছে মানে আমাকে কে বুকিং দিছে দোস্ত?
তোর যে আশিক আছে না, এখন তো আমার পিছনে লাগছে।
এই এই দুলাভাই সামনে থাকলে যে সালাম দিতে হয়, আপনি শিখাই নাই তোরা? কেমন আছো তুমি?
ভালো।
আমাকে জিজ্ঞেস করবো না রক্তটা দিবি তুই?
আমি কেন রক্ত দেব? প্রেম খরচ তুই, রক্ত।
আমার বন্ধু জিসান আপনাকে অনেক ভালোবাসে ভাবি, আপনার ওর রক্ত যাওয়াটা বিধা হতে দিবেন না ভাবি।
তাই তো কেন ফোন যায় না? তোমার নাম্বারটা তাড়াতাড়ি করে বলো।
ঘন্টার পর তো গার্লফ্রেন্ডের লাগে ওয়েট করতে পারো, আর বন্ধুর লাগে 2 মিনিট ওয়েট করতে পারবা না? ও এখন আমার দোস্ত, তাইলে তো বন্ধু রিত লেগে গেল। আরে বেটা এত লাফাইস না, যেরকম শুনতেছি পরীর মতো এরকম করলে তো বেটা
বাপ দে, কালকে 4টা দেখা হবে।
ঠিক আছে মামা। ঠিক আছে মামা, ঠিক মতো যা। শালা পারলাম না রে।
আরে তোর তো হাওয়াটাই হয়ে গেল। তুলি তুই তো সুন্দর নাম। আরে শুন, আমি জিসান, আই লাভ ইউ।
আপনাদের তো চিনলাম না, আমার বড় বোনের যে দেবরগুলো আছেন তো সবাইকেই চিনি, বাট আপনাদেরকে তো চিনি না।
যাইতে দে, আর আমার খালা লাগে। কোথায় বলতা? ভালোবাসা যে এত প্যারা, এত কষ্ট, এত জ্বালা যন্ত্রণা, জানলে ভালোই বাসতাম। জিসান আর তুলির ভালোবাসার ইতিহাস তাই রক্ত লাগবে দোস্ত।
আসসালামু আলাইকুম দুলা ভাই।
আরে শালা, ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম। কি খবর, কেমন আছো? বান্ধবীও তো যায় না, এতবার ফোন দিলাম ফোনও ধরতেছে না। তুমি একটা ফোন দাও তো, ফোন বের করো।
কি বলেন দুলা ভাই, ও যায় নাই? কথা হইছে, ভাইয়া বলছে যে ভাইয়া আমাদের কোচিং এর সামনে আর আসবে না, আর তোকে ডিস্টার্বও করবে না।
ছাড়বো না।
কারণ না, আমি 1 থেকে 3 গুনবো না বাবা। প্রেম হইলেই হবে, প্রেম হইলে এমনি ডিফারেন্স হবে বাবা, আমার খালি ওরে দরকার।
তুমি বাসে আসার পর থেকে আমাকে বাসে শান্তি সব ফিল লাগছে।
হায় হায়, খাইছে কইছোটা কি তুমি?
তুমি একটা ভিডিও কল করে পাঠাও প্লিজ, প্লিজ। কবে আমগো দেখা
কোচিনটা কি এটা আব্বার লগে এমন চিপা মাইটা দিয়েছেন? কেমন ঠান্ডান বউ।
তারপর তো ভয় কাঁচা মুচু খায়া গেছে গা, তারপর আবার দুর্নাম করতে হইব। এই তোর কি তোর দামি ফোন?
আইসা বাপ জান, রাইতে ঠিকঠাক মতো ঘুমাইছে তো নাকি বাসায় গিয়া আব্বা জান রে কইবেন?
কি করছো এটা? তুই বাজার রে বাজার যাও, তুইছে আজকাই করছে।
সম্মান সব পাঞ্চার করে দিছে।
মাগার দোষ আমারও আছে, আমি একটু বেশি বাড়াবাড়ি করে ফেলছি। চলো না আমরা বাড়িতে ফিরে যাই।
তুমি কি পাগল হয়ে গেছো নি? এইটাই আমার বাড়ি এখনতে।
চৌধুরী সাহেবের সাথে আমি কি কথা কইছি? তুমি কোনো কথাই কই নাই কে? সাজান তোমারে কইলো এত
দিচ্ছেন, হ্যাঁ দিচ্ছেন না? এলা বাইরন, আমার বাড়িতে বাইরন।
একবারে হাসা করছেন আব্বাজান। আপনার পোলার এই বাড়ি থাকার কোনো বিতলামি করলে আমি তোরা গাড়াই, কিন্তু ভাবলাম আপনি তো একমাত্র পোলা, গাড়াইলে আবার দিলে চোট পায়।
দিতাছো তুমি?
শোনো, তোমাগো খানদানে যেমন কিছু নিয়ম আছে, আমাগো খানদানেও আছে।
এইসব ফাত্রা নিয়ম কেউ যেন জানবার না পারে। মনে থাকবো তো? তোর যে নতুন বাবি